1979, I met Gary Good. I really didn't know what this introduction would mean to me. But in a matter of time, I learned that it would lead to some nickels and dimes. Now, Gary is a man of extremely quick wit. If you hang with him, you'll find the entertainment is for you. And while you may be peddling your own, the subtle reality is that he longs to be thrown the setup. Yeah, now don't say too much, because while you are talking, Gary's planning the punchline. The good punchline, yeah. The good punchline. The good vibrations going on in his mind. He's planning his attack while you're working his line. The good vibrations going on all the time, and when you least expect it, you'll be laughing so fine. Let's see if I can do this without losing my papers. I love the colorful clothes he wears and the way the sunshine plays upon his head. He's picking up good vibrations. He's giving me inspiration line. The good punchline, yeah. The good punchline. Gary is responsible for a lot of shows. He knows the formula, the yeses and the nos. He knows how to please him, how to put us together, when to leave it to us, and when to call it for weather. He learned it in a family where music was top, where quality was essential. There never was a flop. But Gary had a gift, a twinkle in his eye, a funny expression, a real stand-up guy. He should be in stand-up, for there is his calling. I've stood by him, but I've ended up falling over and busting a gut. His jokes are clean. They're not just smut. When Sally and Jack create a new Integra show, Gary's always says without him it's no-go. In the last mile marker, Gary proved his hunch as we gathered at the table for an Integra's lunch. If you're calling Uncle, if you're calling Uncle when you get a carbuncle, if you're sitting in the diner, there will be the one-liner, and it'll probably rhyme the Gary Good punchline. G-A-R-Y, good punchline, good punchline. I-D-K-Y, he takes the time. All right. The one-liner, the quarterback sneak. Now don't take him for granted, the comic relief. He knows about tension in this world of herding cats, and Gary's learned the answer. He wears many hats. The consummate one-liner, he can jump right in. He'll save the show with his intelligent grin. We all know the show must go on. Let me tell you about a story about the backup Mexican. Peter Noon of Herman's Hermits was doing his show in Mexico. The musicians, all native Mexicans as you can see, had rehearsed and learned their parts. But when it came to the performance and Peter Noon started singing, they froze. Gary jumped right up and sang every backup part throughout the rest of the show. Now, just for example, at the state fair shows, Gary took such pride in the aficionados. Those folks sat and smiled for 35 minutes, but Gary was there until the stampede kibitz, and they would smile as he quietly gave the punchline. The good punchline, yeah. The good conversations going on in his mind. He's planning his attack while you're working his line. Good vibrations going on all the time. And when you least expect it, you'll be laughing so fine. I hear the sound of a Gary Good on a joke that lifts our spirits through the air. I'm having a good vibration, a Gary Good vibration. He's giving me a joy diversion, a Gary Good jubilation. That was Sally and Jack from Integris, by the way. They're not quite done. Gary is wise, a good old bird. To think he's not would be absurd. A chip off the block in his dad's neighborhood. He was quite a good owl. That man named
Oh. Good.
This is Gary's Owl Good. And now Susan Cook's going to tell us a little story about a one-liner from Gary Good.
Here's an example of a Gary-ism. I called Gary on the phone and said, Gary, I've got a new cat. He goes, really? What's the cat's name? I go, Santa. He goes, Santa? Does Santa still have her claws? I thought it was great.
Okay, here's our last little part. So this is for you, son of Al Good, and brother to us in the music neighborhood. We thank you for the fun, the laughs, the work, and the gigs, the friends that we've made, the music you've picked. Your funny sense has always raised the pitch. No one here could ever call you a son of a bet you didn't know when the joke's so fine. It may have been Gary who wrote the punchline. The good punchline, yeah. The good